wonderful greeters today, Curtis Scudder and Chris Clark. You should have been thoroughly greeted as you came in the door, and I hope they were able to make you feel right at home. Now, I would like to welcome to the podium our President-elect, and he's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. Coleman and Coy.
Number one singer. Start with the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say can you
once around in the air, I can find lights. It's a shine and bright star. For the right once he was, we're singing peace. And the rock is so good. Hands are streaming in the night. It grew the dawn. Then my blood was still there. All spinning down the night, was raining gold. For the land of the free, and
Thank you so much, Colin. And now I'd like to bring up David Jones. He's going to lead us in our invocation and for our introductions.
That's pretty good. Shall we? Lord God, we thank you so much for being with us today and to share this time. We ask your blessings on our club as we seek to strive and serve our community and our nation and our world. There's so many humanitarian things that Rotary does. We just ask your blessings on Rotary and what we try to accomplish. And may many lives be changed because we have Rotarians willing to share and give of their time, their talents, and their funding to accomplish it. Thank you for the blessing of the day, the blessing of this meal, and we ask your continued guidance, blessing over us as we have our meeting today. We ask all of this in the blessed name of Jesus, and everyone says, Amen. Thank you. Be seated, please. I think that's the first time we had the national anthem with a bass guitar. Different key of what we were trying to sing in. And I noticed several people going, trying to find it. In light of all that, you guys did a great job. Thank you so much. You know, we'll have a Rotary chorus one of the days, and who knows what may accomplish. We're delighted you're here, and if you brought a guest, we would like to meet your guest today. So starting at this first table, we have guests today.
We do. This is my dear friend Meredith Black and Shirley Gray. These are my girls that we go out with. We've been going out for what? 12 years. 12, 14 years, something like that. We won't count how many. But they're my dear friends, and I invited them today.
Thank you. Glad to have you with us today. Thank you very much. Good man.
Here's one.
What? There you go. You've had fraternal twin before. This may be a first for our club. Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Get back, David. Yes. Thank you. Well, no, those folks are formerly from Australia, right? And we're glad to have you with us today. All right. At this table here, we have guests.
Happy to have my wife, Linda, with us.
All right, Linda. Thanks. Another guest at the table?
I do. I brought some guests today. I brought my husband, Jeff. You guys have seen him before. Jeff Williams. And yes, he gets this 24/7, just so y'all know. All of his energy. also brought a coworker of mine, Brenda Stidham. She works in the quality department for Krista's Health, where I'm also working, and she was also a RILA student. So when I heard that, I was like, you've got to come to Rotary, and of course, obviously, I put a lot of pressure on her. I really want you to get involved, so no pressure, but I'm so glad to have you here with me today.
Thank you. At this back table, do we have a guest? Please.
My guest is Joyce Tuttle. Oh, hi. And I'm the TAC treasurer, but as well, Joyce and I have a connection. Her brother is the most famous TJCLR member, Academy Awards and so on. We'll
All right. Excellent. Thank you.
we're going to my wife.
And he's over here, she's over there. That's right. Okay. Wonderful. Yes, you were there at the reception and came to join us. Thank you. All right, at our back table, do we have a guest? All right, Chelsea, thank you. All right. You're at the food table. Anybody at this table? Okay, we're all home folk. At this table, do we have?
Glad to have from Fort Worth, Ken and Paula Beasley. Let's welcome them.
All right. Pretty good. And then one more, yes?
Glad to have today my wife Cheryl Kimber with us today.
All right, sure. Thank you. Yes, I know. I have a guest too. My wife slipped in. Blessed lady, wonderful lady. You're gonna get 300 extra years in heaven for being with me today. So thank you so much. All right, any other Rotarians? We have visiting Rotarians? Yes.
Oh, no, they're actually sad. We're back.
Yes, y'all was on the club, right?
Stay, we're officially at the White House now, so.
Wonderful. Anyone else? All right, thank y'all for coming. It's a great crowd today, a lot of energy. Looking forward to our program, Madam President.
Thank you, David, and I'm not going to the Sunrise Rotary Club's president, Jim Spire, who's sitting over there, get away. He is here, he's a visiting Rotarian, and we're so glad that you came. So, welcome to all. I'm so happy to have so many people here today. Okay, we do have a few announcements. Paul Weiser is out of town, so we will not be having this week in history, but that's okay. One less thing to contend with. How do you expect you say? I cannot take credit for that. Oh, some people were saying that I was setting the bar pretty high with the valet parking in the lab. You know, that's just the way that I roll. Kobe will just have some big shoes to fill. Big heel at that. Okay, so we do have some announcements. Rebecca Jones has a few announcements for the youth banquet that's coming up. Rebecca?
Thank you, Trudy. I appreciate it. So the Young Citizens Banquet is coming up April 18th, and I know I'm going to see every one of you there. But I do need people to sign up for volunteer spots or just setting up enough. And I'll pass around that list for you. And then next week, we're going to have a sign up for a head count of how many people will be there. So I know some of you can't, you don't have as fun to help. But I do want to see all the beautiful faces out there. This is, so if you're not familiar with it, the Young Citizens Banquet honors 44 schools in the Smith County area. And we have 2 students and 1 teacher. You not hear me back there?
Get it closer now.
The lot of trees on this day out. He's got it down. Okay, but we're honoring the students and the teachers, and it is just it's a wonderful event if you haven't been to one of the banquets that we put on. And the attire the attire will be more business because it's on a Thursday. And I'm trying to think if there's any other questions. Are there any questions out there? I know there were some that people have for the Young Citizens Banquet.
Tell them where it is.
Oh, it's at the crosswalk, at the Green Acres crosswalk. And thank you so much for those that have put in their time and effort to help. Because Holly and David Jones and Mary and Kimberly, I don't think Kimberly's here today, have all put in a lot of time to help out, and I'm just so thankful. But thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys there. I'll pass this around for you.
Thanks, Rebecca. The big deal, we usually have over 300 people there, so we know we're going to be expecting a large crowd. Remember this event, these students are going to be bringing their families. The teachers often bring their families, their spouses, and then guidance counselors come too. So a lot of people to honor students who exemplify the qualities of being good Rotarians, and we don't see a lot of that anymore. Okay, so it's going to be a really great time. Historic Tower Home Tours is April 6th through the 7th. Raise your hand if you're already signed up to be a docent. Look at that, okay. I don't really know what the need is for docents at this time. Bill Crum, do you have an update on that?
At the board meeting Wednesday, they do have some slots. So if you want to, go ahead and call the office and they'll probably get you in.
Slots are still available, and I know Holly sent around sign-up Genius link, so if you want to be a docent for that, that's fun, guys. If you haven't done that yet, you need to do that. And the candlelight party is April the 5th. That's the Friday night before. It's not sold out, I'm told.
A lot of people though.
But it will get sold out. So I know that. Let me tell you how I know, because one year I went to get a ticket and I could not buy one anymore. It was sold out, and that was just the end of it. So I know that Jeff Williams was heartbroken that he was not dragged to another event. To go that night.
They're going to stop at about 200 people.
Okay, so 200 capacity, and it really depends on the house too. Okay, so go ahead and get your tickets. All right, the next announcement, Camp Fannin Association will hold its annual memorial service on Saturday, April the 13th at the University of Texas at Tyler Health Sciences Center at 11 a.m. Everyone is invited to attend. Please see Dr. D.M. Edwards, Bill and Donna, David Jones for more information. To prepare for that, raffle tickets are going to be sold for a Patriotic Friendship Quilt. Those tickets are $10 each. All proceeds benefit Camp Fannin. The quilt will be on display, and tickets will be sold at the weekly Rotary meeting April 4th and April 11th. To purchase raffle tickets for the quilt, please see Donna Croom. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, DM or David? Okay. All right, that's a really neat camp, so certainly make plans to attend that and definitely get a raffle ticket. I've seen one of those quilts before, they're beautiful. All right, the Good Time Cleanup, remember we're participating in that as well. That is also April the 13th from 9 to noon at Burkeville Park. Lunch is following at Southside Park. You should have gotten an emailed sign-up Genius link for that. So go ahead and sign up using that Sign Up Genius. If you want to volunteer and can't sign up through the link, please let me or Holly know. We don't want you to not be able to come and volunteer if you want to do that.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
We really would appreciate anyone and everyone there just to show some support. It's always a good time. We make fun out of it all, so it's not just all. So
Absolutely. If you have a Rotary shirt, any Rotary gear, those are also really good times to wear your Rotary shirts to show everybody what club you are in, what district you are in, and to let people know what Rotary is kind of all about. All right, the multi-district conference, you've heard me say it. It's April 26th or the 28th at the Choctaw Resort and Casino in Oklahoma, and I'm gonna be there. I'm looking forward to this event like nobody's business. It's going to be so much fun. Aside from all the fun, you learn a lot at a multi-district conference. There are districts that are different from ours. There are clubs that are smaller than ours, but there are also clubs that are same size as us and maybe a little bit larger, and you can learn about how they do things, what they do for fundraisers, how they conduct their meetings, and what they do for fun, all kinds of things. So this is definitely a really good destination. I've been to several of these conferences, and some of them haven't been in places this much fun. So this is the year to get on this action, all right? Go ahead and sign up. You can do that on Rotary5830.org. Moving right along. Okay. East Texas Food Bank Volunteer Night, Thursday, June 6th. That's one thing that's not happening in April. Remember how I said it? If your April calendar is full, write down Thursday, June 6th. And we usually volunteer we've done this before, from 5:15 to 8. It's a fun way to give back. And last time we were sorting food and packaging things. It's actually a really fun thing to do as a group. And it's neat. It kind of gives you some insight as to what the food bank does and the large scale organization that they truly are. There's a lot that goes on in the food bank. Keep bringing your grocery sacks. That's an ongoing project. If you're like me, you're waiting until you collect a ton of them. Bring them all at one time, but remember, plastic grocery sacks only, no paper grocery sacks for the East Texas Mobile Food Bank. And remember to always send your February volunteer hours or any volunteer hours. If you've gotten behind, email those to Holly. We count all those volunteer hours that you do even outside of Rotary, and that helps us get our presidential citation. Next program, Mark McDonald, he's going to be doing a program. He is a wildlife biologist. Don't know, but can't wait to hear about that.
He's a trapper and a biologist. He was at another event and stopped by the front table, and I hooked him up with phones. There you go.
I'm ready to hear about that. So next, I'd like to welcome Colby McElwee to the podium, and he's going to introduce our speaker for today and our program for today.
I'm ready to go. Yes.
Yeah.
Here we are. So today we have the privilege of introducing Beau Hartweg. He is the director of the TJC Earth and Science Center. He holds a doctoral degree in science education from TCU. He has previously served as a science teacher of the Grapevine Colleyville ISD, as well as a science editor and professional development coordinator at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science in Dallas, Texas. He is a member of the School Science and Mathematics Association, and he's the president-elect of the Southwestern Association of Planetariums. As TJC's Science Center Director, he is responsible for creating science-related programs, including dome shows, exhibits, and events, working closely with schools on field trips, developing grant proposals, and serving the center's community and media representatives. His philosophy and passion has been to pursue lifelong learning and an ever-expanding universe of endless possibilities. Please join me in welcoming Beau Hartweg.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me here today. And I am very, very honored to be here speaking to you about this eclipse that is happening on April 8th. Now, how many of you have been to the TJC Earth and Space Science Center? Just a show of hands. All right, Dr. Medke, I know that you have. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm glad that you're here. I don't know if you remember when I interviewed with you for this position in 2018. Today was already on my radar. I was already talking about this in those interviews. So it's here. We are now 11 days away, and so excited. Now, if you have not been to the Earth and Space Science Center, I want to first invite you to do so. It is a fabulous facility. We have a 40-foot domed planetarium with immersive programs. We have interactive exhibits, touchscreen displays, all that sort of stuff. It is a truly world-class facility. It really is a gem in Tyler. It is very rare that a community college has a planetarium of this caliber for its community, and we are so thankful that it is here. Now, if So let's have later. If you do not have this date on your calendar, please go ahead and do so. It's April 8th. I've been giving this talk for over a year, but if you haven't heard about it yet, go ahead and put it on your calendars. It's 11 days away. And so this is a truly, truly spectacular event. This total solar eclipse, it's a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. And Tyler, Texas is in a prime premier viewing destination to see it. So what's happening though? What's going on? Now I'm not going to go too much into the details of all the science, trust me I could, but needless to say the moon is casting a shadow on the earth. That's the simplest way to say it, but I'd say the science behind solar eclipses is just kind of boring. It's really light and shadows, things that we deal with every day. But the impact of it is something that truly breathtaking. It's one of the most natural or most beautiful natural phenomenon that you can experience. People travel far and wide all over the world to come see it. If you haven't heard any news stories about the traffic, the business impacts, people come all over the world to see it. And I question we get a lot is why? And that's because to see a total solar eclipse, you have to be in this narrow path. It's about 100 miles wide. And I'll go zoomed in that a little bit further. But to see the total solar eclipse, you have to be in that band. And if people have seen a total solar eclipse before, the first question they ask is, where is the next one and where do I have to go to see it? Now, when we look at what is a solar eclipse, there are kind of two main eclipses. There's a partial and a total. There's more technical things, but essentially a partial and total solar eclipse. Now, a partial eclipse, that picture on the left, that's what we saw in October. Just to show hands, how many of you saw that eclipse with us? Okay, perfect. It's a really great, it's an interesting phenomenon, and it kind of looks like something is taking a bite out of the sun. Now, a total solar eclipse is like that picture on the right, when the moon looks and appears about the exact same size as the sun, and it completely blocks out the light, making it dark in the middle of the day. You can see that white outer part is called the sun's corona. The only time that you can see that is during a total solar eclipse. And this happens for a really unique phenomenon. The moon is much, much smaller than the sun, but it appears to be about the same size. And the reason is because the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, the diameter of the sun. But it just so happens it's also 400 times closer to us than the sun. And if you know anything about perspective, the closer something is, the bigger it looks. And so we get this really unique phenomenon where the moon will completely block out the light from the sun. Now, I will say, the picture on the left does a great job of representing what you would see with a partial eclipse. The picture on the right does not do justice to a total solar eclipse at all. I haven't seen a picture or photo yet that does it justice. When I was finishing my PhD in 2017, I figured, well, that was the last time a total solar eclipse crossed through parts of the U.S. I thought this would be a great dissertation topic. I created a planetarium show that simulated what you would see with a total solar eclipse. I studied everything that there was to know about it. I could tell you all the science, the math, all the stuff behind it. And then I went to go see it. And this was the first time I had seen a total solar eclipse. And was completely caught off guard. I was wholly unprepared. I got emotional, and I just thought, I had no idea what I was talking about. I went back afterwards to my advisor and said, all the stuff I've been working on for my dissertation for the last year is worthless. You can't simulate seeing a total solar eclipse. If I throw it out, she said, no, don't do that. Just write an extra chapter saying how you disagree with everything you wrote before. So, but the point being is you cannot capture the essence of a total solar eclipse until you've seen it. And I like this quote because I think it really encapsulates that the artistic and natural beauty phenomenon. It says you cannot fully prepare yourself for the amazing sight of the sun's corona during total eclipse. When the moment arrives, you will be amazed at the iridescences and scintillations of light in the suddenly darkening sky. It's something that's truly, truly beautiful. And this picture also doesn't do it justice, but it gives you an idea. The sky's not going to turn pitch black. Sometimes that's a big misconception. It's going to be like this really deep, dark, bluish purple color. And at the horizon, there's going to be a thin strip of kind of a sunset color all around you. And then you see the sun's corona kind of right up above as the moon is walking out the sun. It's truly, truly breathtaking. I kind of like to say the difference between a partial eclipse and a total solar eclipse is like listening to your favorite band on the radio versus getting a backstage pass to see them live. It is the same music, but it is not the same experience at all. And that's what we are in store for in April. Just show me, has anybody seen a total solar eclipse before? Okay, so hopefully you can relate. It's one of those things that if you don't know what it's like, you can be excited, but you really don't know until you see it yourself. And so that's why I'm so excited for our community, because we're going to get to experience it together. And for our community, this really is a once-in-a-lifetime event. And I'm going to say multi-lifetime event. The last time a total solar eclipse passed through Tyler, East Texas was July 29, 1878. For context, Thomas Edison traveled to kind of see this eclipse and had a failed experiment that didn't quite work. As often the case with Edison. But and then there will not be another total solar eclipse in Tyler until 2343. So if you want to put it on your calendars, it's February 25th, 2343. I don't plan on being here. Now I will say, in one sense, total solar eclipses are rare. In another sense, they aren't. They do happen about every 12 to 18 months on average somewhere on Earth. And so the next one, if you see this one in April and you become hooked and become a solar eclipse chaser like so many do, the next one will be in 2026 in either Iceland or Spain. And then 2027 will be in Luxor, Egypt. And then 2028 will be Sydney, Australia. So those sound like fabulous trips. You see it's a solar eclipse. But the next time another one will cross the United States won't happen again until 2045. So if you want to stay here in the US, you're going to wait another 21 years. And if you want to become a world traveler, you can see as many eclipses as you want. But it's truly, truly breathtaking experience. I have a short video here that kind of captures what a school in southern Illinois saw in 2017. They were in the path. I'm a little bit jealous because they're also going to get a total solar eclipse again in April. So they're getting it twice in 7 years. That doesn't seem fair. But just I want you to hear the excitement and see the crowd, see the amount of people that travel to see this sort of thing, and just to hear how exciting it is.
Sunset, catch it up here, that's the shadow. You can see that orange sunset is going right there.
Shivers going That's amazing. But look at that.
All right. So hopefully you can hear some of the excitement there. And it's a singular experience where you are standing where the sun, the earth, and the moon line up just right, and you're getting to witness it, and it becomes an emotional experience for people. So if you haven't experienced it, I'm so excited that this will get to be your first total solar eclipse. So what's our job here at the TJC Earth and Space Science Center? And we are serving as the East Texas Information Hub. We're trying to get the word out as much as we can, and I think the word's starting to get out. So what is happening, or when? April 8th, the timing is going to be kind of specific for Tyler and really TJC, but it's pretty close. So it's going to start at about 12:24 p.m. You're going to get this first sun kind of image, and you're going to see the moon starting to move across the face of the sun. And then about 1:43 p.m. is when you're going to get our totality. And it's going to last here, Tyler, about 2 minutes, about from 1:43 to 1:45. And then after that, the moon's going to keep on moving, and at 3:04, it will all be said and done. One of the other things that we are trying to get the word out about is being in totality versus out of totality. Now, again, Fort Worth is here, the western edge of this path. Tyler is just here in the eastern edge. But you notice some parts of our community are going to be out of totality. And you may hear that you'll get a 99% eclipse and think, well, 99 is great. You know, if I got a 99 on a test, I'd be happy. Fortunately, it's not that kind of 99. The 99% partial eclipse is a 0% total eclipse. So there is no partial total eclipse. Okay? You are either in totality or you are out. Keeping with the band metaphor, a 99% eclipse is like listening to your favorite band in the parking lot of the stadium where they're performing live. But still not getting to see them live. So we want everybody to get a chance to see it. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer, maybe kind of hard to see on this projector here. But for context, this is Cumberland Mall right here. This is 110 where the Walmart is. Anybody that is south or east of that is just outside of the path. So we've got White House, my kids go to White House, 99.995%. Fuller is out. Chapel Hill, actually that's where the Dairy Queen is on 64. Longview, Kilgore, all of them are also out. So if you are in any of those surrounding areas, please, if you have the opportunity on April 8th, don't say 99 is good enough. You're going to miss out on the big show. And then it'll say, why did everybody make a big deal about it? Well, people don't talk about listening to their favorite band on the radio. They talk about getting the front row pass. So you want to make sure you are in the path.
There's Holly Tree.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Holly Tree.
Holly Tree, you guys are good. So this is 69 and 49 right here. So we're kind of about here. I think I looked. You guys are getting pretty close to 2 minutes of totality here at Holly Tree.
And that's what time?
Totality is 1:43 to 1:45.
Sir?
Yes.
I've got a bunch of friends that are going to be traveling from DFW to an area along Highway 80 about halfway between Mineola and Hawkins. Will they get totality?
Yeah. So I'm going to go back a slide here. So this is here's DFW. They're going to be in here. The closer that you actually are to this blue line here in the center, and I looked it up, that's Buc-ee's. You will get up to 4.5 minutes of totality. So people will be traveling kind of closer towards the center of the path. The further you are towards the edge, you get a little bit shorter time. So here we're getting about 2 minutes. But if you head north, like even as close north as Lindale, Lindale is getting 3 minutes of totality. So if you head, more within that path, you're going to get a longer period of time. You will have to balance the additional traffic versus seeing it here. You may get an extra minute of totality and then an extra 2 hours of traffic back home. So, the weather question. So we do not. There are extended forecasts that I'm not talking about yet. What I will say is that it is too early to know. Those extended forecasts are pretty meaningless in terms of predicting cloud cover until you get about 3 or 4 days out. So by this time next week, I'll be worrying about the weather. I'm looking at it with a side eye, but I'm not worrying about it until next week. It's about the 50-50 shot, though, for cloudy skies. Okay, but let's talk about safety and viewing the eclipse safely. That's another big key messaging component for us. And any time that is not that period of totality, so that any time besides that 1:43 to 1:45 time frame, do not look directly at the sun with unprotected eyes. You are going to need special eclipse glasses, and I just so happen to bring enough for everybody today. We'll get you prepared. I figured that would be a hot commodity item, yeah, you are going to want to wear protective solar eclipse glasses. And those are not sunglasses. They are designed to block out 99.999% of all light. So if you put them on just in day-to-day business, you're not going to see anything. And I've seen, on the news, they're saying, don't wear those while you're driving. Please don't.
But they're so cool.
They look cool, but make sure you are safely stopped and don't walk with them on. But in seriousness, they are much different than sunglasses. Sunglasses do not protect your eyes from looking directly at the sun.
What about cell phones? If you were looking at it in the camera.
So cell phones or cameras, if you have to protect your eyes, you're going to have to protect your camera sensor as well. If you point your camera directly at the sun, you can damage your camera sensor. So if you want to take a picture of the eclipse as it's happening, and it's your cell phone, you could probably stick your camera through one of those filters. Kind of one of the eyepieces of those glasses, and that should be good. But yes, cameras, just like eyes, need to be protected. Now, during the period of totality, it will be safe to remove your glasses and look at the sun's corona with your own eye. The way you will know it's safe enough to take off your glasses is you're watching with the glasses on, you're going to see a little sliver of crescent sun left, and then it'll be almost like a little tiny line and then a dot. And then at that moment, you can take off your glasses and you'll get to see what's known as the diamond ring, and then as it becomes totality. And then where it gets trickier is on the other side. As soon as you see that diamond ring effect, that light of the sun starting to peek through, you're going to know to put your glasses back on. There is an app that you can download. It is called Solar Eclipse Timer. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. It's kind of like this black and orange screen. It's called Solar Eclipse Timer. It's free to download, but if you want up-to-date information for the April 8th eclipse, it is $1.99. But what that will do is it will take your exact GPS location and know the time to take off your glasses and when to put them back on. It'll give you a countdown. It'll say 10, 9, 8, 7, and then glasses off, glasses off, glasses off. And then on the other side, I'll give you a countdown. Get your glasses ready. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, glasses on, glasses on. So that will be kind of another safe way for you to know it's safe to take your glasses off and put them back on. Other ways to look directly at the sun. Does anybody plan on using a telescope in here? Okay. So I'm going to avoid this. If you don't have a telescope or don't plan to use a telescope, and you're not comfortable with it, I would say don't, because you're magnifying the light from the sun, so magnifying the potential damage you can do to your eyes. You can use a telescope safely as long as you know where to put the filters, which is on the front end. But if we're not going to go there. The other thing that you can use is welder's glass. And I see people that are selling welder's glass for like $1, which is great. That's another great way to do it. But it needs to be shade 14. And it cannot be like an automatic welder's mask. It needs to be a dedicated shade 14 welder's glass. Another way you can look is indirectly through what we call pinhole viewers. You can bring things like colanders, anything that's got a little hole that the light can pass through, and then you can project it onto the ground. How many of you in October noticed kind of through the trees, you saw all these little mini crescent suns? That's the same effect, is that the light from the eclipsed sun was passing through, and then you could see all these little mini eclipsed suns. So we're doing the same thing, just with things like a colander. If you take a note card, you put a little pinhole through it. Or if you even don't have anything, you can do what I like to say, make a Chick-fil-A waffle fry with your hands. Kind of do this crisscross pattern. And then you let the light pass through you, and then you'll get little tiny mini eclipse suns. It's kind of a fun little party trick to do during the eclipse anyway. So give that a try. Now, what do we have planned? This is kind of where I'll end. We've got lots going on at the TJC Earth and Space Science Center, so again, I want to encourage you to come out and visit us. Next week, we are kicking off what we're calling Eclipse Week with planetarium shows. We've got exhibit displays, a gift shop. We also have a great website, tjc.edu/eclipse. We're passing out brochures and glasses, which I have up here. Please feel free to take one with you before you go today. And then there's also some great community events. We've partnered with East Texas Symphony Orchestra to put on a fabulous concert, as well as we have a NASA astrophysicist who's going to come and give a public lecture next week. And then we've also partnered with Visit Tyler for what they're calling Totality together. So some of our planetarium shows, we've got Science Through Shadows, Eclipse the Sun Revealed, and it's not on here, but we have another one called Totality over Texas. And so next week, from 12 to 4 p.m., pretty much at the top of every hour, we are doing one of these planetarium shows. You're going to hear about the eclipse if you come see us next week. And then we've got a great kind of exhibit with an interactive touchscreen display that you can kind of see video of solar eclipse. You can kind of pinpoint where on the map you're going to be, figure out timing, what it's going to look like, all that sort of thing. Here's information. Here's what the brochures look like if you didn't have one. We brought them up here for you. We've also got a fun little gift shop if you kind of want to nerd out with us and sport your Eclipse at TJC Pride. So we've got hats, mugs, or not mugs, maps, pins, lanyards, all this sort of stuff available in our gift shop. We also have additional eclipse glasses if you say, I need some for my whole family. We've got a good stock of them here at the gift shop for $1.99 a piece. And then, so here is that Eclipse Week schedule. So Tuesday through Friday from 12 to 4, and then on Saturday, April 6th from 11 to 4. This is Dr. Hakeem Olusay. He is a NASA astrophysicist. On Thursday, April 6th from 7 p.m., he's going to give a public lecture at our Science Center, kind of tell his story. And then on April 6th at 4 and 7 p.m. is that ETSO concert. It's got wonderful music that just captures the feel of seeing a total solar eclipse. And then we also are doing what we call Star Party Saturday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. And that is a free event where we'll bring out telescopes, look at the stars, and just have a great evening together. And then if you want to see all the happenings around Tyler, there's a website called totalitytyler.com. You can hear about all the businesses and restaurants that are doing all sorts of great events. And if you are wanting to see the eclipse that day with a big party or group of people, there's locations or viewing spots all around the city on that day. So with that, I think that's close to my time. Are there any questions? Anything that I can answer that I didn't get to? Yes, sir.
What about the timing? If we were at Bucky's or Silver Springs, okay, it starts about what time the intro.
It's going to vary by some minutes, and I don't have those timings memorized just yet. If you want to know, if you want to look at kind of an interactive map that will give you the timing, I'm going to spell this out for you. I don't have it on a slide here. If you do a Google search for a guy by the name Xavier, Xavier, and then Hubier, which is Jubber, eclipse map. He has an interactive map that you can like zoom in on the exact location, know how much totality you're going to have down to the second, what the timing will be. So I would encourage you, if you're curious about a specific location, that Xavier Humier Eclipse map. So.
All these daylight savings time.
So we are on daylight savings time, so it will start at 12 p.m. or 12:24 here. So I will start 12:24 current time. The totality will be 1:43 to 1:45. Yeah, we are on daylight saving time. So yes, sir.
How does a total eclipse affect animals, if any?
Yeah, great question. So there have been a lot of anecdotal reports on things that have happened, but that's something that NASA scientists and other biologists are going to be studying with this eclipse. They started in 2017. They have some initial data, but they're really hoping to get more studies done this time. Some of the kind of the anecdotal reports include, just animals going through their normal nighttime behavior. So chickens coming home to roost, and just animals starting to howl, and kind of crickets chirping, and all that sort of stuff. And so if you're kind of a more natural environment, you may get to kind of notice and experience part of that as it's happening too. Yes.
Do you have any information on temperature changes?
Yeah, great. So with temperature changes, it can be anywhere from 6 to 10 degree kind of temperature drop once that totality happens. The analogy that or the imagery I should have people think of is, a hot summer, day, Texas, and you're standing out in the sun, and then either a cloud passes over you, or, you run underneath the shade right away, you notice that temperature drop. And that's the same thing that's happening, is just the shade is coming to us in the form of the moon shadow. So there will be a noticeable temperature drop of about 6 to 10 degrees. And there are different factors of what it would be, but great. Yes, sir.
So you're probably one of the people involved in this. Who's figuring all this out? Who's figured out this 142 will have total totality very complex? Who actually does the work? Where does that work actually come, and who's deemed to be the authority?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that, because the eclipses happen in very regular intervals, we can track out and know when and where eclipses will be for hundreds and hundreds of years into the future. Now, where it gets tricky is in the edges. And there is kind of this gray zone. So when I told you, here are the places that are just on the line, like, Cumberland and the Walmart and the DQ. There's about a half of a mile fuzziness zone. That's one of the things that NASA and other researchers are actually going to be looking for, is how can we fine tune and know the exact width and where it's going to be and all of that, because there is a little bit of fuzziness that we still haven't quite figured out. But I mean, all of the when and the wheres have been calculated by NASA and other kind of scientists. It's something that tracking eclipses has been happening for thousands of years, and so we've got that down to science, if you will. Okay, good question, Doctor. Yes.
It's obvious why you take it first. The folks here realize the planetarium in 2008, the sky was falling, getting late. The equipment was from the 1960s, and we couldn't get parts on eBay. So we were going to tear it down, and we wouldn't have all this. But people stepped up and said, we need to preserve sacred planetarium, so this is the benefits to Jocelyn.
I wanted to know if you knew when you interviewed for the job at TJC that you were gonna be at ground zero on this event. If that's amazing that you had that opportunity.
Yes. Well, absolutely. So, first off, thank you, Dr. Mikey, and yeah, we're so, it's such an honor to be a part of the community and be able to be here to share this with you. And so I'm glad for everybody who kind of really supported the planetarium. And then in terms of knowing, would I be here at Ground Zero? Yes. I said, this is a planetarium that is going to be in the path of totality in 2024. That's why I applied for this job. So I was super excited. So I was already looking forward to that. Yeah, thank you. All right. Yes, you had a question, and then we'll get.
I've been all about, yeah, you mentioned that half mile on either side of the line. If you have a home that falls within that half mile, do you recommend going to a different location or?
Well, so I live in the kind of the Cumberland area, and I live based on that map, I know that there's a half mile, but when I looked at the map and I zoomed in, my front yard was in the path of totality and my backyard was out. But it's not that exact. And so if you stay at the edge, there is kind of a neat little phenomenon that some people who have seen total eclipses before, they actually travel to the edge to kind of see. And that's this phenomenon called Bailey's beads, where you'll see the light from as the light is leaving, you'll see these little peaks and valleys in the moon's surface. It's a really neat phenomenon. And at the edges, you're going to get a longer amount of that. But you'll have less of the dark sky, the sun's corona. And so I would say if this is your first total eclipse, travel just, another mile north or so, if you will, just to make sure that you're in the safe zone. So, yeah. Okay, just get your hand.
I do not have a question.
Okay.
We keep our granddaughter every other Friday night, and Saturdays is planetarium day. She loves it. She don't.
Well, thank you so much.
All ages of kids.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I know we get lots of questions. I'm curious how we're doing on time. Are we okay? Do you have time for questions? 30 minutes. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Yes.
Didn't the ancient cultures, they were able to predict lunar eclipses more than what we're about to experience? And weren't they considered evil omens? And sometimes they would replace a ruler with a stand-in because they thought the wrath of God was going to come down on the ruler?
Sure. So ancient cultures, they were able to track and predict solar eclipses. And lots of different cultures had different ideas of what was happening. Some would say that a dragon is coming and eating the sun, and they would, make as much noise as they could to scare the dragon away. The Mayan culture, I went down and learned that a lot of their architecture was built around eclipses and having the sun pass through different points at exactly the same time. And so, and that information was kept only by the leader or the ruler or king as a way that he knew and could demonstrate his power, saying, this solar eclipse is going to happen at this time because, I, have all of this power over you. And so, it was, it's something that has been known for a long time and has been used in different ways and thought of in different ways. In our Eclipse the Sun Revealed show, we do talk a little bit more about the different cultures and how they view eclipses. It's quite fascinating. Okay. I get this question in the back. Yes.
So I don't really mention down,
Yes.
but from the pre-hospital first responder side of the world, we've been planning for this for about 6 or 7 months. Can you relate to us the number of people that are predicted to move to Tyler for this event?
Right. Okay. This is a great experience type of presentation. I do have another of the presentation, but so the thing is with total solar eclipses, they do bring a lot of people. The actual number is hard to pin down because there's going to be a lot of factors, one of which is weather. But any city that's in the path of totality is probably going to see an increase of tens of thousands of people into their city. With estimates as high as doubling the city's population, which for Tyler would be 100,000. I think that's a bit on the high side, if I'm being real, but an extra tens of thousands of people coming into Tyler is not unrealistic. I know that all of the hotels have been sold out from what I've been hearing. Tyler State Park, when they opened their reservations, sold within 5 minutes. So we know people are coming to the city, and I've been working with some of our emergency management professionals to kind of plan and work through some of the realities of the increased traffic. I will say in 2017 we did see for cities in the big path we saw a huge increase, traffic stretching over 15, 20, 30 plus miles and lasting about 13, 14 hours after the eclipse. So just be prepared. This is what I say, if you're traveling to the center of the path, you're going to have to deal with traffic coming back. Whereas if you have a great place here in Thailand, it's, you're going to get a good view. Just enjoy it from where you are. So I think that's it for my time. So thank you again so much for being here. It's my pleasure.
Would you be willing to stay for just a few minutes afterwards if someone did not get to ask the questions? Wonderful. So that was a wonderful, fascinating program. The Rotary Club of Tyler has made a contribution in your honor to the Literacy Council. Tyler, for being a speaker, thank you so much for all of that information. Those of us that are anticipating this event from a healthcare perspective, just like my coworker Jim Spire did say, Christus Health and other healthcare organizations in the area have been planning for this event for many, many months. And just like you very correctly pointed out, there will be a lot of people coming into the area. So this is going to be, we want everyone to have a safe viewing experience, but just like Dr. Hartweg said, if you are on the road, you need to be prepared to be on the road for hours at the time. Everyone at Christus Health is going to be dedicated to giving you anything we can, as much as our resources will allow us to. But remember, if you travel 5 hours somewhere, it may be 8 hours or 12 hours back. So certainly we want you to see it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I can't wait to see how many people are going to be here in Tyler. I will be at work that day. And Christus is in the path of totality, I am told. So we're very, very excited to be able to be a part of this. So thank you so much again. Okay. It's all right. Now we still have the Ace of Diamonds drawing, and Dr. Hartweg, if you wouldn't mind drawing the ticket. If those of you that are visiting, I'll tell you what Ace of Diamonds is. We, every week, people put in a few dollars as a collection. If the last three of your ticket numbers were called, you win that phase, and then you get to walk up over here where the cards are laid out, and you have to draw out of what cards are left the Ace of Diamonds. If you win and you are a member of this club, you get half of the money that's in the pot. If you are a visitor, you only get 1/4. So, and the other goes back to the club. So what's in it for today?
$34.
There's a useful amount of money, past president would say. So what are those numbers that we're looking for?
Last three is so 732.
732.
Hey, what?
This club, so she draws the Ace of Diamonds, and she gets to get half of that amount.
All right, Katie.
Lots of items there. I'm sorry, I did verify that there's a correct ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. Okay.
So the Ace of Diamonds is going to live another week. If you will all please stand with me as we recite the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
and fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
We are adjourned. Have a wonderful day.